All right. You already know what time it is. It's Monday night, live in the Counselor's Corner. Time for another open court discussion. I am your host, David Lorenzo Glover, aka the controversial counselor. Joining me is my co-host, the Big Bad Wolf, Herb Lewis.
Ow!
And Wolf, we haven't had a sighting in like 2 weeks, so that Wolf is ready for the time being. So tonight, December 23rd, a rescheduled show from last week, 9 p.m. EST. Our topic of discussion will be based on a scenario posted on Facebook involving flirting. So the title for the show will be Flirting with Consequences, Navigating Relationship Risk. Well, everybody know flirting is a natural aspect of human interaction, but in relationships, it requires careful navigation. Let's discuss the importance of open communication, boundaries, and mutual respect as we discuss this scenario. So here's the scenario. Man is out with his wife at a party when another man walks up and says, I noticed you from across the room. Just wanted to come over and tell you that I think you're beautiful. Wife thanks the stranger and smiles. Couple gets into an argument on the way home. Hubby says she should not have accepted the compliment, but rather told the man that she is married. The wife said she was simply being polite. The wife said the compliment made her feel good, but nothing more. Mm, mm, mm. Don't know if she should have said that much, but we'll talk about that. She says there is nothing wrong with accepting a compliment from another man, even if a woman is married. The couple now are giving each other the cold shoulder. Who's right, the husband or the wife? Should she have accepted the compliment? Who owes who an apology? So please like and share our video, and don't forget to tell a client to tell another client to subscribe to the YouTube channel, The Controversial Counselor. Um, Sitting at about 926 subs, lost a couple, uh, but all good. You win some, you lose some. But we have to stay in the race to get a win one day. So here we are. It's been a couple weeks. Another 1 week. I came back to Niagara Falls to attend my late great brother, Arthur, Mr. Clean Hill. And then the week last week I actually came down with a cold, so couldn't was too congested and just wasn't at my normal strength to do the show. So here we are. I'm back almost about 90%, and just ready to close out the year. With some powerful information. What's good, Big Bad Wolf?
And just some home issues with a few problems, but I'll get that rectified. But other than that, man, I can't complain. It's cold, and it's December, and I'm gonna get back on my weight gain or my weight loss because I've been slipping. It's always that month between Thanksgiving and Christmas that just messes me up. The daylight savings time, that whole thing starts to kick in. I'm just like, I got to get back to good. So that's what I'm going to do. But other than that, man, I got nothing else. Everything's moving along. I'm looking forward to charting for next year. Uh, got some vacation things planned coming up. So it's gonna be a breakout year for me. I'm setting that up right now. Hey boy.
Yeah, 2025, big year, and for me, I'm happy we got seem like a little bit more of a break than we normally have. About 12 days off, so I'll take that time to refresh, do some things that I've been meaning to do, and yeah, I'm probably gonna start hearing lately um, from one of my aunts. She has a lot to say.
Mm-mm.
Uh, she got a lot to say. So, I'll always preface it as my auntie said. So, I mean, she had been speaking on some of the comments in the counselor's corner. If you recall, she would make her little comments and stuff, and then people would the women would get mad and like she need to sit her ass down. Ain't nobody doing this, ain't nobody doing that. And she was the one who was pushing the paper plate thing, and they was like, well, she can bust suds if she want to. If I decide to give my man something on the paper plate, then he gonna take it. And so I guess she said, I'm about tired of reading this shit and I'm gonna start talking up more. So be on the lookout for Auntie. She coming through. She coming through. But other than that, it's good. I hope everybody's been, enjoy their holidays. Hey, don't go crazy and go broke. Because at this point, in all honesty, what is it to get kids? What is it to get kids? Why are y'all still breaking down, stores and running around like you crazy when simply once they become a teenager and even elementary age, you got gaming systems. It's not like you get a gaming system every year.
Right.
Nowadays you don't even buy the actual video game. They download stuff and swap games and different stuff. So what is it really to give them other than some money or buy clothes or items like that? So I just don't see the big point. Nothing's like a surprise anymore, unless they're really like young, like 2, 3, 4, 5 years old. But other than that, once they start getting in the second, third grade, they know what time it is.
You know,
So
I was
don't
accused of
stress.
being bad. I was accused of being a bad uncle when I said I would buy my kids books. Oh, that's not a gift. I'm like, okay. But that's what they would be getting from me. Once, like you said, once they start to get into, that third, fourth grade, yeah, the jig is up. You're not fooling them anymore. Now, me personally, I don't celebrate, but there's one thing when this time of season comes around, not that I don't do it anyway. I'm always listening to Christmas music. Carol of the Bells happens to be one of my favorite, if not my favorite Christmas song, just because I like the melody and how the song's arranged. But in terms of gift giving, um, and I'm gonna be honest, for me, if somebody wants to give me something, and I mean this in all sincerity, give me your time. That's an honest gift because you can't take that back. Your time and your attention. That's all I require. Just to be honest, all that other stuff, money, I go work. I get my own money. Sex, and I mentioned that because a lot of women, well, she can give you. I'm 53. That don't move me like that anymore. I gotta be into you to really even be thinking that way. And 99% of the women I encounter, that's not even on the table. That's that's in itself sitting with the flour waiting for me to start taking baking lessons. So but that's just me. Not everybody's walking around like the wolf or Uncle Ron. So I understand, but I'm at a point now in my maturation that I'm just like, hey, whatever works for you. You want to be in the friend zone? I'll be in the friend zone. And that's something else we're going to get into next year because a lot of people, and I'm getting off on a tangent here, a lot of people, and I don't necessarily know if it's more so men than it is women, a lot of people, they hear that term friend zone and they associate negative connotations of some sort, whether it's I don't want to be there or nobody could put me there. I'll say this first and foremost. The reason many people struggle with dating is because they're not good friends. I'm gonna say that first and foremost. So if you can't be a good friend to somebody, how you can be a good mate to somebody? Most of y'all cannot relate to somebody of the opposite gender because you don't sit down and take the time to understand them. And this is why a lot of people struggle when they're trying to buy gifts to people. You've been talking to this person for 6 months and you don't know what they like. You don't know what they might want. You don't know anything about them. I got to question you. I got to question what kind of friend you are, but that's just me.
All right, I got two things to that. Mind already know what I'm gonna say. I will not be friend zoned by nobody. That's just me. I mean, okay, if I am, if I accept it, it's from
Yes,
a long, long distance. We won't
yes.
be talking. You won't be calling. Like, what you doing later? Or I ain't got nothing going on. Like I'm like a leftover type. You should stop by, or we should go to. Nah, G, you blew that shit. You blew that shit. We ain't in the friends. If your ass stranded on the road and I walk and ride by, I might take a good glance. Like and say, nah, that ain't her. That ain't her. Keep going. Go ahead. Say I'm petty as hell, but
No,
I would
because,
not.
and that's the thing about it. And I want people to understand, just like David said, you have the right as a sentient person to either put yourself in there knowingly or not. I'm not saying anyone has to. And David's made that absolutely clear. But the reason why I say that is this: I benefited from a friendship that I have, and not only have I learned so much about the nature of people, I've learned how to respond more appropriately than I ever have before. And coming from me, working with guests in the industry that I do, that's another level for me to be happy to ascend to, because now I really take any kind of personal reaction and I just let it go. I just let it go. I don't necessarily have to respond to anything to be right. At this particular point, for me, it's all about understanding. So sometimes I'm going to get some information from somebody and I'm not going to say anything. And they're going to think that I'm not listening or that I don't care, when it's quite the opposite. I care enough not to necessarily have a response, because sometimes no response is the best response. But see, we as men, and this is our nature, we're always trying to problem solve. And this is something I said on a show maybe about a month or so ago with Dr. Ryan Taraban, when he talked about um, therapy. He says sometimes women don't want you to solve anything, they just want you to listen. And I started putting that into practice. And I'm coming to realize that, you know what? I'm doing better when I do less. So for me, it's been beneficial in that regard. Some people aren't gonna get that, and I understand. It's all about, and I always talk about the toolkit. It's all about what's in your toolkit and how you can use it. And me, I'm trying to make my toolkit so goddamn big that I can't carry it with me. And I know that sounds crazy as hell. Why would you not want to carry it with you? Because there's going to be some situations where there's something in it that I don't need because of the person I'm dealing with. You always say, David, KYP, know your personnel. And I think that's what a lot of us men don't do. We're taking women in this scenarios, and we can actually transition right into this too. We take women as a monolith. We don't seem to understand that, yes, when it comes to certain things, women do align. There's absolutely no question about that. And then when it comes to other things, women don't align. We saw that with the past election. So regardless of the ethnicity, their age, their occupation, their status, whether they're married, single, or whatever the case is, there are going to be glaring differences between women if, and I, excuse me, and I stress if, a man understands how to look at them as individuals. And that's where a lot of men struggle. You were saying the second one was you not doing the friends. So what was the second one?
Oh, the second one, when you were talking about gifts, and you said a lot of guys don't understand what a woman likes, and I always think a great idea is to, if you don't want to get into all of the exchange and well, you still would be exchanging, but I think a good idea would be, you know, both of you one day y'all go to the mall, y'all say to each other, okay, we have a limit. and you say, okay, this is our limit, and we have an hour. You go your way, I go my way. Not like how
Mhm.
my grandmother said, you go one way and she go the other way. But y'all go y'all opposite way. Y'all get an hour and y'all figure it out based on the limit. So now you got pressure. You got pressure. You got to have be creative to kind of stay in your the limit that y'all set for each other. And I think that would be a fun activity because either you might buy one big item and sure, well, he didn't really use creativity, but I used a lot of stuff that he likes. So for example, someone for me, they may say, oh, I know he loves socks, so let me get him some socks. Oh, he like hats. Oh, he likes sweaters, so I'm gonna get him a combination of these different things, and bam, I'm gonna be shit. I'm gonna be happy. Uh, but as a guy, you have to figure out like the things that she would like, and you would also have to listen to the conversation she says and say, hmm, she did say she liked that. Oh, she likes this color. Oh, she mentioned about not, she wish she had this to go with that outfit or something like that. So I think that would be a great exercise instead of just doing the usual stuff that you do and getting the same old gifts year after year after year.
Right.
So it's just a thought.
And I will tell you this now, fellas. I'm gonna drop some game on you. Your boy Uncle Ron told me to tell you this. He said, look, you really want to impress your female friends. You really want to do something nice for her. Ask her if she needs something fixed around her house or her apartment. Ask her if she needs her. And of course, you're gonna have to be in close proximity to her. If you're out of town or out of state, this is not going to really necessarily work. Ask her if she needs her lawn cut, leaves raked. Give her give her so many hours of landscaping or whatever it is. Try that. Stuff don't cost you nothing. You build a rapport, and guess what? And guess what you're gonna do? She's gonna start bragging about you. Don't think she won't? Try it. And if I'm wrong, I'll cash app you. I'll cash app everybody out there, every man out there that tries this, and I'm gonna verify. I'll cash app you $10. Just because I I know it'll work. So you get your female friend, y'all get together and tell her, you know what? Come this winter, I'm gonna shovel your walkway. I'm gonna shovel your driveway 5 times this winter, 6 times this winter. I guarantee you, she's gonna tell somebody, and they're gonna come around. I heard you doing such and such and such and such. Can you do me? Um, I do that for her as a friend. You It might cost you a little something, and of course, she's gonna think, oh, you just want some type of physical affection. Nah, you got to pay me money. She pays me in other ways, and how she pays me is none of your business. I keep preaching this, and y'all got to learn. Keep some shit to yourself. So if that's your working relationship, that's your working relationship. That ain't nobody's business but you guys. Don't put it on social media, and nobody be none the wiser. But let's get into the scenario. First of all, the one thing that I want to say is no one owes anyone an apology. You heard me correctly, and I'll get into that. The only reason either one of them would owe the other an apology is this: one of them violated an agreement that they had discussed. In this case, the woman was trying to elicit a response from her husband. And if she was aware and she's trying to make him jealous and he called her on it, then she would have needed to apologize if the second one was correct. Now, when I was looking at this and I was writing down, I'm going to break out what I call rules of engagement. And when a lot of people start dating, they don't discuss these kind of things because they don't ever think they're going to happen. And I always say, The one question that people regret not asking on a date is the one they didn't ask because they fear that they're going to run somebody off. So I broke this down in like four categories. One is your non-negotiables, whatever those are. Two are your deal breakers. Three are things that you're willing to compromise on or negotiate. And four, you have to watch for people who are habitual line steppers. All right. These things should be discussed immediately. And the problem that comes about is this: the reason why women should do it is before they commit to anything physical, because women don't want to have another body on their notch count, and that's understandable. Which is why these type of things need to be hashed out. For men, men don't want to invest money taking multiple women out on dates only to find out that you're misaligned. For me, personally speaking, this is what dating is about. And I will tell you, the moment I see a female, I'm already quote unquote dating her because I'm gathering information. I'm looking at the way she dresses, the things she wears, how she speaks. And there's a difference between speaking and talking. People say, well, what's the difference? You talk to your friends, you talk to your family members. Speaking is what you do in public. So you have some people who go to the restaurant and they act like they've never been to a restaurant before. They're speaking to the server, da. It's like, yo, you're out in public. Behave like that. Those are the type of things that I pay attention to. I'm not saying anyone else has to, but those things. Now, we're going to go to the how. Women will win and remain or lose and go back into the dating landscape if they don't do this immediately. In other words, when she starts out looking for a mate or whatever the case is, she's putting herself in a position to be brought on by that man. Now, men ultimately they're looking, and these all play with each other. Men are looking to quote unquote recoup their investment. So if a man takes you out on 4 dates, he's looking to get something. I don't care who he is. I don't care what he tells you. No man is willing to put in that kind of time and monetary investment and not get something in the end. That's just the nature of dating. Dating has become really transactional. And that might rub some people the wrong way, but that's okay, you know. And then you have situations where both of them could be involved. So you have the situation where someone would call women a gold digger, someone would call a man a sugar daddy, and that relates to slightly to age gap dating. Number three, this goes back to the compromise. Like David, like David always says, know your personnel. So having the knowledge and understanding of what your mate tolerates, doesn't tolerate, and the expectations helps. The reason why a lot of people don't is because they can't keep their ego in check. So yes, BGS, absolutely. BGS says women are transactional, so men have to be. Absolutely. So a lot of people have a problem with keeping their ego in check. So when that happens, you're not actually dealing with a situation, you're dealing with that person's ego. And for some people, they can't control that ego. So when they get involved with you, that's what you're fighting against. You're not fighting against the situation. The situation is the situation. Either you approve of it or you don't. But once you get into that ego, there's a whole different ball game. And some people's egos you don't want to mess with because they can never be right They can never be corrected. I'm sorry, they can never be wrong, and they can never be corrected. And this is a situation you have with a lot of people. You can't tell them anything because they're unwilling to listen to anything, whether it's constructive criticism, just criticism, or otherwise. And number four, there were a lot of people who were calling the guy insecure. Let's run with that for a moment. Let's say that that was one of his non-negotiables. He doesn't want you accepting comments from other men. It makes him feel a certain way because he's never gotten over his wife doing that and she ended up stepping out on him. Does that make him insecure or does that make him guarded? Because let's face it, we all have some things that you can't do. I don't care who you are, where you come from, what age you are. We just some things that we can say, no, you got to go. And those are the non-negotiables. Those are the things that people will cross that line. They will call it, oh, I was just testing you. Or you know what? There's a door. Test the handle and see if it works. And then when you do that, yeah. Let me read the scenario to you, BGS. A man is out with his wife at a party when another man walks up and says, I noticed you from across the room. Just wanted to come over and tell you I think you're beautiful. Wife thanks the stranger and smiles. Couple gets into an argument on the way home. Hubby says she should not have accepted the compliment, but rather told the man she is married. The wife says she was simply being polite. The wife said compliments make her feel good, but nothing more. She said there's nothing wrong with accepting the compliment from another man, even if a woman is married. The couple are now giving each other the cold shoulder. And see, he's already set his stipulation. You're married to me. You don't need to be receiving compliments from another man. So there's two things I hear, and I mentioned both of them. That was his non-negotiable. She crossed the line. The reason why I say that is the reason why I say nobody owes each other anyone an apology is because they're digging in their heels. So the only way an apology works, and BGS said that she should have shown more deference to her husband, but she wanted to feed her ego. And that ego says, ooh, this makes me feel good. I want more of this. Give me more, give me more. And because now her ego is invested, there's a problem. Now, it's usually things like this that build up resentment in a marriage, and all of a sudden it comes to a head. And next thing you know, he's going to do something. She's not going to like it. And she's going to break this out. And all of a sudden, it's going to morph into something that didn't need to occur.
See,
And this is why people need to have these type of discussions early on in relationships. You know, even before you get intimate, because once you get intimate, the ball game changes. I don't care who you are, be it male or female. For female, being intimate changes her psychologically, and women will tell you that it doesn't. I'm here to tell you, yeah, it does. Now, how
see,
much?
for
Yeah.
me, um, like I said earlier when I first read it, that the point of saying if it felt good, I don't know if you say that to your husband. You may keep that to yourself, but a lot of times people struggle with filters.
Hmm.
They don't know what to say and when to say and how to say it. And quotes one of my grandmother says always used to say, "You don't know what to say. Y'all don't know what to say out your mouth." And sometimes people don't know what to say because, to me, and people may look at it as you had mentioned insecurity, but okay, what if your husband wasn't there and made you feel good, and y'all carried on and had conversation, and all of a sudden now you want to start frequent that spot because he told you that's where he's there, and he gave you some type of feeling,
Hmm.
or is it a cry out saying that your husband don't compliment you enough? And that's something that could be said. But I know a lot of times women may put stuff out there, and guys may say, "Yeah, we hear you," and may not automatically act on it, but ultimately they're looking for more and more and more, and which will become an issue.
Yeah, and that's why I talked about that ego. It's a lot of people, especially as we get older, we tend to think our ego subsides a little bit. We're not necessarily driven by that. And what people need to understand, intrinsically need to understand, is the older we get, because we've gotten to this point in our lives, the more invested we have in our ego. Because we're not going to allow somebody to tell us that what we do, who we are, doesn't work. It's like, yo, wait a minute. You mean to tell me that I've done all this, I'm still living, I'm relatively good health, and you're going to tell me that my decision making is terrible? That I need to do this? It reminds me of, and I'm going back probably about 10, 15, maybe 20 years or so, about 25 years. People were pushing me to have kids. Oh, you need to have a kid because it'll make you more grounded, it'll make you a better man. I'm thinking, so what's wrong with the man I am now? I'm just like, I'm out here working. I don't have any children out of wedlock. And at this point in time, I wasn't really involved in civics. I just got out of school. And I said, I'm not running around creating broken homes. I've never been to jail. I've been to college, even though I didn't graduate. I'm like, why would having a child ground me more than what I'm already grounded? And it used to always perplex me. And it wasn't until I got to be about in my mid 30s that I stopped being told that. Now I don't hear that anymore. And I hear a lot of people say, now, you know what? You made a wise decision when you didn't have any kids. And I always tell people, my saving grace, and this is just me, I'm not knocking anyone else, is that I didn't have any children. That was never because I didn't think I would be a good father or whatever the case was. I said, I look at the world now and I look at the way some of these parents are raising their kids, and I'm saying, my kids do not have to share any space with some of these wayward parents' kids. Because I look at the way some of these kids behave, and I'm just like,
and one of the things with that, some people, that's their greatest accomplishment. When you ask them, you can't say that shit on the interview. And people will say that shit on the interview. What's your greatest accomplishment? Because I sat on many interviews and like becoming a parent. You gotta have it has to be more or something else, because anybody could become a parent.
right.
Anybody could become a parent. So you got to know when to use that uh statement and when not to. Professionally, oh, hands down, becoming a parent. Now, granted, they say, uh, parenting and just marital situations probably two of the hardest things in life to accomplish. But there, you also have to, besides the parenting thing, who are you as a person? Who are you? What do you stand for? Uh, if someone had to, we talk about that, had to read your obituary, had to come up with it, what would they say about you?
Yes.
Uh, and those are the things that you can't fall back on and say, oh, me being a parent is the greatest thing. Because once kids get old and they get a certain age, I hate to tell you this, half of the time they ain't thinking about your raggedy ass anyway. And that's all, me included, and everybody, they're not thinking about you like that. So unless you can monetarily fulfill all their needs or requests, other than that, they're gonna keep it moving, or they're gonna go to the parent that can do that. So they'll play back and forth
Oh yeah.
between you and stuff. So just be mindful of that. And once they get a certain age, start building your legacy of doing things that you wanted to accomplish, and maybe you couldn't because you end up being a parent. But build on certain things. Don't let that just be the end all be all, because you're asking them to be up in a nursing home, and you've been saying all your life, my greatest thing is being a parent, and they're not coming to see your ass.
At all.
They left you there
At all.
and kept it moving. So that's just that. Sorry to dampen y'all spirits, but hey,
Now, I'm going to also play devil's advocate. When I was sitting here doing the show notes, I realized that as people, we don't really know how somebody flirts. Why? Because we're not in tune with the subtleties of flirting. People can flirt by how they speak to someone else. People can flirt by how they dress. What was the other one? And just how they interact with people. Kevin Samuels, shout out to the Godfather, used to always talk about how powerful a high value man's wife is because she could work a room. That requires an element, just an element of flirting. And I say that for this particular reason. I'll give you a scenario. A couple walked in the car dealership, newly engaged. The man walks to another part of the facility, and the female engages in the conversation with the salesperson. Through conversation, he discovers why they're there. The woman gets an inkling and decides to play a role. She's able to negotiate a price on a car that the husband wanted for $5,000 less. Does the couple accept the price, and does the man object to what she did? I don't think most husbands, fiancés, would be too upset. But see, this is the thing we really don't understand about the subtleties of flirting and how it can be helpful, how we can get at certain things. This is why some people will sin. This is why, in certain situations, people will send men, or let me say that another way. People will send women to disarm a man. This is why daughters learn how to wrap their fathers around their pinky. And when they get older, some people call it manipulation. I'm not here to parse hairs. This is how women learn to get away with that and to flirt and to get certain things that they want from men. So the thing becomes, what do you categorize as flirting? This is why men are protective about women that they're with in the way that they're dressed, because they consider that a subtle way of flirting. It's a subtle way of letting somebody know that, hey, I'm available, even if I'm not on the market. There's a certain way that a woman can speak to a man that if he's in tune with it, he can pick that up. Say, oh, oh no, Shorty's open for it. And one of his boys, somebody that's down with the school, will say, how do you know? Oh man, I can tell. It was just the way she said such and such and so and so. The ones that aren't initiated, they miss the boat. This is why women always talk about it. He didn't pick up the hint, leave him alone. Some men don't pick up the hint. And that boat that he could have been sailing on, he missed.
so no, there's a couple things when I think about when I was younger. One of the things I used to pick up on when a woman laughs at everything you says, like that's uh like a dead giveaway, and I was like, shit, that shit wasn't even that funny. But they laugh no matter what, so that's a giveaway. But I remember when I used to work at Bryan and Stratton College. Some of my coworkers were like, David, you know she like you, and I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. He's like, you can't tell. I was like, no, it's like you're a smart man, so you can't pick up on the body language and the
Yeah.
cues. And remember, we talked about body language is 55%. Uh, and there's like the way she put her hands on her hip when she come to your door, the way she flips her hair and all that stuff. And she said, you, so you don't see none of that. I said, oh, but to be honest, I didn't really pay it no mind,
Yeah.
whatever. And I just kept it moving. But they were like, man, please, like she wants you so bad. If she could, she would take her damn clothes off right there in the doorway, in front of you. But and mind you, I was like 20 something years, so I didn't necessarily understand and pick up on that. And sometimes, like you always said, it's good to have female friends in your game as well. And but then also on the reverse side, the females used to say, I I used to do things when I wanted stuff done, and there's like you do stuff with you do something with your eyes, and I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And it's like, no, you come in here, you do something with your eyes, and it just makes me just say, just melt, and then I fucking do it. And it's like, but I'm not doing it this time. And they would tell me, get out my office or whatever. Like, I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Like, seriously, I didn't know. And it's like, it's something you do with your eyes, and I can't say no, but I still can't figure that out. I don't know. Was I cross-eyed or did whatever, googly eye? I don't know what I did, but whatever it was, they was like, you know how to do it, and you just want me to do it, and you come in my office, and then you do this with your eyes, and I end up doing it. I don't know.
And the funny thing about it is, a lot of people will have those. I don't want to call it idiosyncrasies, but a lot of people will have that je ne sais quoi, for lack of a better term, that links them to someone else, so they have a difficult time. This is why she told you to get out the office, because he has a difficult time telling you no. And a lot of people we don't, and I'll include myself in this. We don't know about it. One, because nobody's ever really pointed it out. She said you do these things with your eyes, and it's not like you sit in the mirror, trying to figure out what it is that you do with your eyes. We don't have time for that. You're just like, I'm just coming in being me. And they will say, yeah, it's just that you're just being you. But I do this to everybody else. Anytime I want something, it might be that wavelength between the two individuals is, when they hit. It's like two oceans that collide, and they boom, and that energy is transferred. That moment is created, and that moment becomes unbreakable. And the thing about it is this: nothing has to happen between those two individuals. And I know people will say, well, no, that ain't true, because it's something like that happened to me, I'm going to follow through on it. I'm going to try and capitalize on it. No, you're not, because you won't know. You won't know until years later. And after that, the moment's going to pass. And sometimes that's all it is a moment. This is why women talk about vibes. I just got the thing in YOLO. And this is why a lot of people, male and females, end up having one night stands. Is because the subtleties of their flirting has been picked up by somebody else, and it's like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna drop them things, and I'm gonna let him get something tonight. Because I've been there. I remember one night, gosh, I was 24, damn it, 30 years ago. I kid you not. And I'm at Fusions. You know where Fusions used to be. And I'm kicking it with this female. Now, I guess the music was that loud that when she asked me my age, she thought I said 34. I was like, no, I'm 24. So I'm big boy game. Went ahead and had my fun that night. Now, she had came back without me giving away too much information. She had came back to where I was staying, where I was living at, and was looking for me the next day. I wasn't home at that particular point in time, but that's the power of that kind of feeling. Because I mean, I was kind of dressed up. I was wearing a nice little vest. Matter of fact, I still have the vest in my closet. Black pants
Don't
and
go,
shoes.
don't go changing into it. You don't got
No,
that
I
type
can't
of
fit that much
time.
now. It's too small. But anyway, I mean, there were times, especially in Niagara Falls, New York, where we got a mix of Canadian females. So you always had something different. You didn't have to choose from the local women. You would get some women that you just connect with, and that was all that was needed. You don't have to drop no game. You don't have to come out with tons of money. You just happen to connect with a chicken. You flirt with her. Harmless conversation, and she say, "Hey, you know, um, me, I got an apartment. Why don't you come back with me tonight?" You saying, "Yo, fellas, I'm out. I'm gone. Where you going?" Shorty just told me to come through. I mean, honestly, that's uh, I will say this in full disclosure. I was never the type of guy to have how did they say get it off the lip. I was never the type of guy. I was the type of guy that liked to speak to women, and I'm the same type of guy today. I like to engage in conversation with females. I like to engage in conversation with anybody. So whether it's politics, football, current events, or whatever the case is, I'm a conversationalist. I stand and speak to people all the time about whatever. And I remember sometimes we used to go to this club in St. Catharines called Big Bucks. And I struck up a conversation with a female, never asked her name, didn't care. It was just a conversation. And I have a fella come over to me and he said, "Yo, what was homegirl's name?" "Her? I don't know." He said, "You were talking to her for about 4 or 5 minutes." I never asked her name. "What do you mean?" "I wasn't trying to bet her." "Sorry, I'm not sure what to tell you. But I mean, if you want to talk to her, she's right there." So a lot of things when it comes to flirting, they're unwritten. And until you actually write them or you verbalize them to somebody else, nobody's really gonna know. Some people will tell you that looking at a female or looking at a guy the wrong way is flirting. And you'll say, "Well, damn, all I did was look." No, 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 no. You gave her that look. The same way the female said your eyes, she'd be like, "You gave her that look because that's the same look you gave me."
So yeah, it's certain things like that you pick up on, like the up and down look. Like when if a female look you up and down, but they don't have a look of disdain or disgust on their face, but every time you come across them and they checking you out like that, eyes tell a lot. The eyes tell an important story. But besides that, it was a couple of things that you had said that kind of crossed my mind when you mentioned about going to somebody else, and I wanted to throw that in there, and I mentioned this before. Yeah, that happened. I went to somebody else, but what she didn't tell me is when I got to the door that it was somebody else. Her ex had refused to leave, and he was on the couch. They hadn't slept together. Guess he refused to leave the house. But at the time, I was like 22, so I I was being macho. Didn't really think with the right head, and just went in there, gave him the head nod, and like, "What's up?" And went on to her room and was in there for a few hours. And when I left back out, he was still on the damn couch. His eye might have open, and I said, "All right, bro," and walked out. But then when I process it, and when me and my boys talk about it as we got older, it's like, "You crazy as hell. You was crazy as hell. You luckily still be alive." I am. I am. But sometimes in those situations that you know somebody likes you, or you might have one of your homeboys pump you up. In that case, that's what it was. I got pumped up into going there because I was never really into her. But that night out having back in those days drinking that Irk and Jerk, that Easy Jeezy, that E and J, it was gonna be a long night. So that was one of the things. And another thing had came up, and I had seen this, and I thought it was funny on TikTok. They were like, if any guy mentions that they read the 48 Laws of Power, that they're by Robert Greene,
Yeah.
that they full of shit. Like that's cap. And if they mention that, beware. She said she kind of if a guy mentions that, she kind of cut him off. And I'm thinking like the 48 Laws of Power. Shit, that book I read not read all the way through it, but I like read some of the examples. I think I read everything. I didn't read the whole, but I read the summary and read some of the key points and looked through it. And it was always a powerful book, far as self improvement and things of that nature. But I remember again working at that college, and that was the time that I learned about the 48 Laws of Power. So I was reading it. So one of my coworkers would always say, "Don't even do it. Don't even come over here with this 48 Laws of Power shit, David." Uh, saying that I was using it to manipulate and control the situation. But I end up getting them that book too, so they could read it. So I don't know if they got into it as much as I did, but hey, it was you learn some skills from the 48 Laws of Power, or also a book he wrote, The Art of Seduction, and things of that nature. That it transcends. It goes a long way with not just romantic encounters. It goes professionally. So that was cool. And where I said Saint Ives and Old English, yeah, those was a thing back in the days. Yeah, that old malt liquor should do you in. And I don't know what the other point is. It'll come back to me. But the flirting thing is it's a it's a serious thing. And once if you pick up on it, you kind of understand. And I think I probably shared this such story on here before. And I remember one of my because we all kind of hang together, we mix and match. Back in the days, my sister had her core group of friends, but if my sister wasn't around, they'd hit me up. And when I had a car, like, what you doing? Come get me. Let's go have some drinks, and we'll hang out. So one of her friends, me and her would get off first, and we would hit the happy hours. Sensation, Sweetwater's in Buffalo, one of the best clubs of all time. What we know, the best club of all time is the Pleasure Dome, but Sensation. So we would go there, and me and her would go there, and we would just have like rounds. I'll buy rounds, she'll buy rounds, and then I told her it was a group of ladies at the table. It was like three of them, and I said. I said, they're over here checking me out. And she was like, y'all Glovers always think somebody checking y'all out. Ain't nobody checking for you. I said, okay, okay. So it was her turn to go get the rounds. She went and got it. When she went and got it, one of the girls came over and they was like, my friend just wanted to know, is that your lady friend? Is that your girl? And I said, no, that's my home girl. And it's like, oh, well, my friend over there wants you to come talk to her when you get a chance. So I was like, okay. So meanwhile, I'm going to just use her initials. KC came back and she was like, what was that conversation about? And I was like, you wouldn't believe me if I told you. I said, they wanted me to come holler at the girl. She's like, swear to God. I was like, swear to God. Then she was like, shit, okay. Like, damn. I guess you is the man around here. Like, and then I was like, nah, but I just told you they was checking me out, but she just couldn't take me saying that. Like, I was kind of like bragging, but
it's that ego. She couldn't believe that you was getting the flow that she thought she should be getting. That's why I tell people, you got to deal with people's egos, man, and that's not an easy thing to do.
So I I picked up on the eye contact and all that, and I was like, they just waiting for an opportunity to come and say something. So when you go away and get those drinks, and that's what they did. So needless to say, that I ended up going over there talking to the young lady, and then the rest of our crew, my sister and my boys, end up coming later, and this girl was like glued to me side by side. So one of my boys like, "Yo, who is that?" Then I was like, well, this such and such. And I was like, I just met her tonight. He's like, God damn, man. She all on you. But that's how it worked. Maybe I did something with my eyes while I was sitting there engaged. I don't know. But you guys got to pay attention to your surroundings.
Absolutely. And it's funny you said that. I'm gonna follow up with a birthday story. Now, I used to always hit up Toronto on my birthday. So whether I was working or not, especially if it was on the weekend, I would take a couple of days off and just go hang out. And sometimes I'm with my can't even speak. With my boy, shout out to Carnell. So we went to this spot called L3. And I was dipped. Hat, came in wearing all white. He with his girl. And we walk into the club. We go up to the second floor. And the way the club was constructed was the first floor had a dance floor. The second floor had bars on the ends, I believe, both ends. And you could look down on the dance floor. So I'm standing on the rail. And I happen to look to my left. There's a couple chicks standing there. And I'm thinking, she's probably going to approach me by the end of the night. Just a hunch. Sure enough, about 10 minutes later, she walked down and she grabbed my hat off my head. Now, I have a hard and fast rule. You can't fuck with my hat. If I'm
Oh, big man. What the fuck?
yeah, no, man, that's simple. And I'll tell you why I have that rule, especially when I'm out of town. One, I don't know who you are.
That's fair. That's fair.
Two, I'm not getting my wig split because some cat think you his and he think I'm trying to get at you.
That's fair.
So Shorty come down, she grabbed my hat, started, trying to dance up on me. I'm my hat, and I'm like, yo, Shorty, Now, my man is with, and you can ask him about this. Ask Connell the next time you see him. My man is with his girl, and he's like, yo, she want him. Why he? He said, Herb, don't play. Not with his hats. Mm-mm. You can't be touching his brims if he do not know you. So, if you see me out with a female and she wearing my hat, you ain't even got to ask no questions. You already know the answer. I'm just saying. But that's how, excuse me. But that's how flirting works. A lot of people, and I'll reiterate, a lot of people don't understand the subtleties of it because they've never been able to capitalize on that. They've never, especially with today's generation of people, nightclubs really don't exist. Not like it did when we were in our mid to late 20s, 30s. They don't exist. So you got people who aren't polished in flirting. They don't know how to be flirted with. They don't know how to engage in the banner. They don't know any of that. That's why you have the rise of dating coaches, game coaches. All they are is teaching you how to flirt, teach you how to pick up on small talk, how to engage in small talk, how to be receptive to advances, and how to put up feelers towards women that might want to do something with you. She just don't know how to go about it. So all these things that encompass flirting are gone. We had to learn on the fly, but for most of us, it started in high school. You go to the assembly. It reminds me, and I'm going back, the note passing. I like you. Do you like me? Check yes. If not, check no. That was flirting. It was age appropriate flirting, but it was flirting. Does that even exist nowadays? We had the whatever the things were where you used to make the papers and draw a. Do these kids even know what half of that stuff is nowadays? And that builds upon itself. So even
Okay.
though even though you may want to flirt and be friendly with somebody, you can do that. But it's all in how you do it. I have to watch myself because when I do speak to women, there's an era of me flirting in there. It really is. So I have to be careful, especially if she's married and her husband's around. I have to be careful of what I say to women because I know how it sounds. And I'm serious. This is, and the reason why I say this is because I'll say something that for me is nonchalant, but the wrong individual hears it. They'll be like, yo, why are you flirting with her? Her husband is standing right there. And I'll say, what? You think that was flirting? Yeah, that's flirting. No, that's Herbert. For you, that might be flirting, but for me, that's everyday conversation. And they will say, well, how can you get away with that? Well, I'll say, it's not that I get away with it, it's just who I am. Because people will always, and I laugh when I hear this, people will say that I'm antisocial. And I hear that so often that I just, when I hear it, it's just like, I say, no, I'm selectively social. And people will say, well, what's the difference? There's some people I just don't want to be around. And how I speak will make that known. My tone, the words that I use, and discussions I set down before they even have a chance to start. Whereas, if I'm open to certain things, there's a way that I'll phrase it that leaves certain avenues open. Now, if, and I stress if, the female's perceptive enough and she wants to, she'll pick up on it. Whether she's married or not, in a relationship or not, is immaterial. She will reciprocate in terms of having a conversation. And for me, that's flirting. Because I'm just looking, like I said, anytime I meet somebody, especially a female that I might be interested in, which is rare, the dating process starts right there. See, some of y'all, another nugget, some of y'all wait too late to start dating. So once that female knows that you're interested in her, guess what she does? She tightens up her behavior. So that means any of the possible chinks in her armor that will send up a red flag for you, you never know about. You never even consider. Why? Because she knows you into her. This is why do you think I don't give up certain things about what I like and what I don't like? Because it's easy for a woman who's clever enough to put a Trojan horse in you. And once she does that, you're done. You're done. It's like the old viruses that used to come in through spam or whatever it is and infect the computer before we had all the spyware and everything, or anti-spyware. Y'all got to understand that although flirting is cool, flirting can get you fucked up. Especially if you flirt with the wrong individual, the wrong time when you got somebody whose spouse don't play that. That should get you fucked up. So be careful in what you do. Be careful in what you do, who you do what with. And as long as you know how to handle yourself and conduct yourself in certain situations, you okay. And fellas, please, for all that I hold true, if, and I stress if, and look, if a woman has an engagement ring on, wedding ring on, leave that chick alone. Unless you know you can whoop her man's ass. If you can't whoop his ass, leave that chick alone. That's all I'm going to say. Because And you might get them goodies, and you might get got after getting them goodies. So you do not want to be one of those fellas that ends up in that situation. I'm just telling you now, as a man who's been there.
So when you mentioned, and I brought this up before, about younger people as far as flirting, it's hard. And I'm like I said this before, because they all fucking look alike.
Mm,
No one stands out. They wear the same hairdo. They wear the same footwear. They wear everything that's trending. So it's hard to separate yourself when you go out. When you're out, when you're in school, you got to have something to separate yourself from. You got to do something different. If everybody rocking cruddies or the little natural little curly little hairdo, then you say, "Shit, I'm about to get these waves flowing."
hmm
Uh, and I'm about to get my wave brush, and I'm about to get these waves flowing. I'm about to take it back. Uh, if everybody wearing hoodies and all that stuff, then you may say, "Hey, I'm about to get my polo game on," or whatever the case is. So you have to try to change it up because everybody looks fucking like, and even not only kids, adults too. Even this sensation, as you talked about, Herb, the hats, the sensation with the hat thing that all of a sudden everybody wear hats.
hmm
All of a sudden, I know the reason why I wore hats. It was because of my birthmark. But then after that, it just became a part of me. But then all of a sudden, everybody's wearing hats, the same hats, and all that shit. So if you're single and you're going out, shit, it's like you twirling around like I can't tell the difference because
Yeah.
everybody looks alike and they're dressed alike. So you have to say to yourself, damn, I got to come up with something far fetched to be different. Whether it's your ladies killer, you'll smell good, it has to be something. Because other than that, it's just lining them up and maybe it's their teeth, or maybe somebody's shoes is curled up, or whatever that you could decipher to say, he ain't it, she not it. But other than that, it's just like a bunch of fucking clones walking around at
hmm
a club. So for me, like, and I've done that and been done it at an early age. So me at my age going out, there's no benefit like that unless, a bunch of your boys, we're all in town and we just trying to be young again and hanging out, or family, and we just like don't want the night to end. But other than that, eh, what the fuck I want to go out and look at a bunch of triplets and everybody looking like that you can't. But some people, that's just y'all thing. Y'all like a snag a tooth person, or maybe that this other person right teeth is right and then the other person left tooth is right. If that's what you like, I love it. But it got to be something different. But in this day and age, because of social media and images, that everybody fucking looks alike.
Yeah.
Pretty much, or try to look alike. Yeah, I always try to I always try to change it up a little bit. Got to try to change it up.
And to that, what a lot of people, well, yeah, I don't necessarily know if people know or don't know. Maybe they're just unwise to it. The way you dress, male or female, it is your calling card. So if you wear, let's say, um, a female dresses in period clothing, so she likes to wear pinup girl clothing. That's her calling card. Now, only a certain segment of men are going to find that attractive. And for them, she's flirting with them. Why do I say that? Because a guy who likes that era of clothing, guess what he's gonna do? He's gonna walk up to her and compliment her. He's gonna say, you know what? You look like a pinup girl from World War II, the 1950s, 1960s era. And she's gonna immediately know what he's talking about. That's the opening. That's why the scenario is so polarizing for a lot of people. It's because that man picked up on something and he liked what he saw. This is why the husband, well aware of what she's transmitting with her clothing, had a problem with. ZZ Top made a song. Every woman's crazy about a sharp dressed man. Why? Because he's sending subliminal signals. Kevin Samuels, once again, used to talk about footwear, fragrance, and frames. BGS talks about in his Octane models, he talks about the uniform. Those are subliminal flirting messages for certain women. It reminds me when I used to go up the Roxy's in Hamilton. I used to go out in a suit, hat, tie, the whole shit. And my homegirl said, you know what? None of these females in here are going to talk to you. I said, yeah, I know that. Why? Because they couldn't fuck with what I was wearing. What I was wearing transmitted a certain category that a woman had to be in. They didn't fit. And you know what? I was okay with it. Because I didn't have to worry about anybody running up on me, messing with me, trying to get with me. It's for certain people. It's for a certain class of women. And if you're not that class of women, don't even approach. That's what it said. And I don't know if I told this story before. I believe I have. We went to Vegas. Me, my man Chris. So I think it was like 3 or 4 of us. We were out there. And we were in Caesars, I think it was, at a club. And I don't know if this club is still there, called OPM. And we hanging out back. And a female walked up on me, and I think she was from Sacramento, somewhere in California. And I'm dipped. And she's like, can I talk to you for a minute? I said, sure. She said, are you a pimp? I said, no. She said, are you sure? I said, yeah. And then she asked me a question I have never been asked by anybody before. She said, did you file W-2s last year? I'm cracking up, man. I said, yeah. I'm dying. I said, yeah, I filed W-2s before. She said, I just wanted to know because you dressed like one. I was cracking up. But, like I said, there are a million ways to flirt. Now, she picked up on the clothing and said, hey, look, that's how them G's do it. That's how them PIMPs do it. So her curiosity was speaking. Now, I didn't follow through because I was cracking up at it. I didn't really think she was interested in me per se. I think she was just more interested in whether I was into that kind of work. And who knows? She might have been game. I don't know. But it was just like, excuse me. It was just so darn funny. But like I said, people, flirting in all its subtleties can be overt as well. I mean, you got some people out here who are characters, and they dress wildly. They got the bright colors, they got the, I don't want to use plumes, but they got that outgoing nature about them that's attractive to people, because some people they want to be brought out. They want to be that kind of person, but they're scared. They're scared of being ostracized. They're scared of being talked about. They need to be with somebody who's comfortable in that particular skin. Let's look at Dennis Rodman for a moment. for as crazy as people thought Dennis Rodman was, Dennis Rodman had him some badass women. Do you think Dennis Rodman actually walked up and was really having those kind of conversations with those women? Or do you think Dennis Rodman's style and personality attracted these women? Carmen Electra, by any stretch of the imagination, Carmen Electra was fine. I don't care what your proclivity is in terms of attractiveness to certain ethnicities and women. There weren't too many men that was going to turn Carmen Electra down. And when people found out Dennis was having his way with that, they was like, okay, oh, Dennis legit. Some people flirt naturally, others got to work at it. Other people, they put on some clothes and walk outside. They got people falling all over, male or female. So, if you're looking to be able to become better at flirting, shall I say, work on it. You know, you want people to notice you for the way you dress. First of all, make sure you're physically fit. And I'm not saying you have to be an Adonis walking around, chisel six pack, pecs out to here. No, you got to look good in your clothes. Go get a couple suits tailored. But like I said, you know, work out, be physically fit, look good in your clothes. And I'm not necessarily the type of person that wears cologne. I got a dresser full of it. I don't. I'm naturally funk de jour. I smell good. I smell good regardless. But for most men, I would tell you what, as long as you clean, if you go get one or two fragrances, and I'm gonna drop a little secret on you. But if you get one or two fragrances, you can be okay. You don't have to go out and spend $600-700 on a couple ounces of perfume. But I'm gonna give you a little trade secret. You really want something that's gonna get women's attention? Go where they go, buy what they buy, and wear what they wear. Go to Bath and Body Works. Go buy those little 3 for $15 body splashes and wear them. Let me know what they say. I'm just telling you. Trust me, I don't tell you nothing that I haven't done or that hasn't worked. Because all you're looking for is conversation. And once the conversation goes, if you got it, you wear it.
So is Bath and Body Works? I've been in there before, but is it for females or they have stuff for men in there?
They have stuff for men in it, but what I'm telling the men is this: don't buy the stuff that's for men. Buy the stuff that's for women. Because they're gonna want to know why you wearing it. Wait a minute, where'd you get that from? Bath and Body Works is that? Yeah. Why are you wearing it? And that's your end. You can answer the question, but have some fun with it. The first thing you do is ask, "Do you like it?" Well, yeah, that's why I wear it. So what else do you wear? This is when the fact finding starts. What else do you wear? Well, why do you wear that? Why do you like this? Why do you like that? All the while you gathering information. You know she shops at Bath and Body. You know she likes the scent. Find out what else she likes. Find out the other things she do. Find out if she cooks. Find out if she's willing to go somewhere with you. All this, put it on the table. All right there. Don't wait. Do it right then and there. Find out what her favorite music is, her favorite musician is. Find out if she'd like to go to a concert. All this stuff. And if you're daring enough, hell, ask her what kind of underwear she wear. If you're game enough, if you got it like that. Now, some people, you see David's reaction, man, are you crazy? Why would you? Because
no,
you go.
I understand, but it has to be that type of rhythm that can permit you to ask that question.
Correct. Absolutely. No, Doc. It's not necessarily a woman's fragrance, and that's what. Good question. I'm glad you said that. Bath and Body Works have body splashes that aren't necessarily. Yeah, Dave's gonna have me go up and get my stuff. They have body splashes that are similar to Axe. Why do you think Axe is all of a sudden putting those on the market for men? It's no coincidence, people. Listen to your big bad wolf when I'm telling you this stuff. What do you think all that Axe stuff is? I'm just telling you what the advertisers aren't telling you. So yes, I do recommend going to Bath and Body Works, buying the body splashes in the summertime. Throw some on. Walk around some people, and I'm not saying you have to do a whole lot on. Just throw some on. Get a couple that you like. They got to be something that you like.
See, me, I just, and it's been since I was shit at college level, like freshman. I just wear the ladies' skin. I wear oils. Uh,
Yeah,
Simple
you
as that. And I wear like two or three of them that I don't give a damn. Whenever I put them on and where I go, people are like, yo, who is that? They smell good. Like, man, what is that smell? But I ain't trying to release what I wear because again, everybody looks alike. Then they want to smell like. But the thing about oils is about your body chemistry. You can't
Bingo.
you
Yep.
can't come out smelling like fried chicken all the time and then put that shit on, but it's not going to produce the same results.
Right.
So I got two or three that I go to that no matter what I wear, and I can walk in the office at work. They're like, "What is that you have on?" Like, "Oh my god!" And then I'll play with them. See if I tell y'all the story of that, then y'all know the name. But because I already know
Yeah.
y'all,
Now
I'm gonna
keep it
do
to
everything.
yourself.
So never mind. Y'all wear what the fuck y'all want to wear, but y'all ain't gonna wear what the shit I wear. So never mind. Never mind.
Yeah, but man, like I said, man, go to Bath and Body Works, man, and any of those places that sell them, and buy the women's body splash because more than it's like the deodorant secret. It's strong enough for man, but pH balance for women. Makes sense. They're telling you that you can use this, but it's for women. And I know some guys are out there saying, "Man, I'm not gonna wear no goddamn women's deodorant." If they gave you two sticks of deodorant and neither one was marked male or female, I guarantee you're gonna pick up the one that smells better. What do you think a female's sense of smell is tuned to? Try it. Let me know how it turns out this summer, and then we can have that discussion there. I guarantee you're gonna get somebody, a couple few women that's gonna ask you, "What are you wearing?" And like I said, start. If you don't know them, if you know them, you can tell them because there's nothing to gain there unless you're trying to get to know them better. But like I said, man, the subtleties of flirting. What did R. Kelly song? What is that song R. Kelly made? I'm a flirt. and don't. I will tell you this: if you're good at flirting, continue to flirt. Just make sure if you're in a relationship is respectful to your mate. And if you're not, become good at it. Because you never know what you can get. I gave you the example of the $5,000 from the dealership. You never know what you can get by flirting. You might get a better seat on a plane. You might get an upgrade that you didn't pay for. A lot of things come because people know how to flirt. And I'm not saying you have to be ostentatious with it. I'm not saying you have to be over over the moon with it. I'm not saying any of those things. I'm just saying if you can do it subtly, do it subtly. but learn how to do it because it's always something that's in your toolkit. So you might be able to get something more. Nothing,
I,
nothing beats a failure but a try.
I think overall, if you someone that's people view as easy on the eyes, things go over a little different.
Hmm.
Uh, and for some people, this might come off harsh or whatever. I don't give a fuck anyway. But if you dog face ugly or whatever the case is, you might have to be a little nicer. You can't be not when you look at yourself in the mirror, you're like, damn, I'm uglier than a motherfucker. But you say that to yourself, but you can't turn around and have an attitude along with that. Of course, you probably will attract someone that's probably at the same level like that, but you everything you got to have a like a balance. Joe Johnson said, interesting. From LinkedIn. All right. I like. I don't know if I ever had somebody come in from LinkedIn. That's big. What's good, brother? Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
But I think that's key too. The you kind of got to know who you are and know what your capabilities
Mhm.
are and the feedback that you get about yourself to be able to progress and do things different. A lot of times people just be winging it, but remember, like Herb said, people he start the dating process early, collecting data, and that's what it's about. Observations, things that said, things that make you feel good, things that make you smile. You looking at all types of different things when you observing people, and a lot of people don't pick up on that, and that's that's kind of their demise. Uh,
No,
how
Doc, I
long
got to
are you
bounce at
guys
10:30. They
kicking
got
it
me
tonight?
working tonight.
Yeah, we gonna have to cut it short. And I know it's about that time,
Yeah.
but what's next week? The 30th. We'll be back next week before we close out the year. Uh, but any closing comments? Or
Nah, man. Nah, man. Well, it's like I say, are you putting a brick in the wall of conversation or are you taking one out? And with flirting, hopefully you taking one out. And as always, growth and understanding the herbs and the gray area. Godspeed. See you next time.
Doc said, "Do you guys want a third amigo?" You could have been came on here,
Yeah.
man. We about to stop playing. Um, we about to sign out. And for me, closing comments like far as flirting, it's about knowing who you are, and it's also about listening and talking to the right people and getting schooled on certain things. A lot of times, it's just about awareness. Eh, if you're not aware of certain things, you'll miss out on a lot of things. So just learn to talk to the right people. Pay attention to your surroundings. That's key. Pay attention. Um, Listen to people who have experience, and I think that's where the younger generation fails because it's almost like an insult for somebody older to kind of with this generation to tell them, okay, this is how you do it. This is how you do it. They kind of look at you like, oh, you're an old head. Like it's like laughing banter when we relish that opportunity to learn from someone and they took the time to even talk to you. Shit, that was everything. These kids, not so much. Um, he said, "Hey, I pulled into Buffalo late and just finished eating. All good, all good. I understand. I'm glad you made it to Buff safe. Hopefully, I'm gonna get there in a few more days, maybe after Christmas, and then we can connect, Doc, as far as the book. But a lot of it is real. It's about paying attention and learning. and we can all learn from each other. And that's one of the things that we try to emphasize. Some of the things Herb say, I might not be familiar with. Some of the things I may say, he may not be familiar with. But you got to be willing to learn. You got to be willing to learn. And if you're someone that's open to learn, which is crazy, and we talked about this before, like a lot of people still can't handle that word. Are you coachable?
Mm.
They still can't handle it. And I just said that the other day. I was like, if somebody asked me, "Are you coachable?" I say, "Hell, fucking yeah, I'm coachable. Hell yeah, I'm coachable." But got different things spinning in my head. The reason why I say that, and I think sometimes people get phrases and words misinterpreted that they can't. That they get stuck on one thing and they'll say, "No, I'm not coachable," because I think that's somebody trying to manipulate you. So I'm saying all this to be saying, pay attention who you talk to, uh, be self-aware, pay attention to your surroundings, and flirting, it's gonna always be around. But the one thing we know, it's how you respond to anything that matters. So no
Yes,
matter
sir.
what anybody come with, it's how you respond to it that counts. All right, good people, we out. We won't see y'all again. Everybody have a good holiday. Stay safe. Be careful. Kick those family members out that want to cut a fool. Let them go.
Yeah.
Pick up old shit. Let them go. Escort their asses out because shit get crazy. But all right, good people. We'll see
Yeah.
y'all
Take
before
care.
the new year. All right, we out. Peace.